that the prisoner in front of him is a football genius. Facing dozens of people, alternate throughout the ball, he can still easily break it all. But the daughter of the Trainers Association showed contempt again. She slapped the cigarette in her hand. Prepare to teach by yourself, he learned a lesson. Since the other party is a woman, so it seems that prisoners of war tried, conceded a goal. But this scene at the right time made British officer attention. He shouted loudly and scolded, "This micro-hole!" And then quickly, pushing the game throughout the ball, because a prisoner of war is a soldier. Nazi arrest. Once too close, it will fall into a dangerous situation. He snatched the ball, and disperse the crowd. Quail. Hurry up, go back to your place. But the next day, the Coaches Association came to the camp again. Use premium cigarettes in exchange for the right to use less in one day. He didn't expect that the action. This creates among the greatest goalkeepers in history. What's even more surprising, this is also a true story. As it turns out, the second place team, I am a trainer, is standing by, on the brink of relegation. The current goalkeeper is almost useless. Make the team face risk of dissolution. The appearance of Bert in celebration is a piece of peace. Perfect combination to save this situation. But no one could have expected that renewable energy. Bert is so outstanding. Even though it was his first time on the field, he was still a little worried. But in the face of the blow, the full strength of the opponent, he immediately reflexes again, and successfully bite. This extraordinary level of destruction made the guild. The coach couldn't help but applaud. But that's just the warm-up. In the face of a series of attacks, strong attacks from the enemy, Bert created a wall, defense as solid as copper. He relies on testing techniques, excellent ball control, to protect it in a perfect way. Incredible performance. This surprise made the spectators on the field must be stunned. After that, Bert continued to practice, show a powerful throw, withdraw teammates to assist, one more goal. Just like that, Bert withdrew the home team to win, overwhelming 3-0 in the first match. But the teammates still keep prejudice against him. On the way back, the Trainer Association immediately compresses for Bert a piece of cloth, beckoning to wrap around his neck, pretending to be a German scaler to hide status of Nazi soldiers. Don't let anyone find out about you. Is German. Not. He said it didn't mean anything. I don't want to do that. Why are you so stubborn? Do you know that your body stinks? The uncle stinks like that. Do you want to spend your whole life just to do cleaning work? Toilet? Do you want to stay like this forever? Standing in front of a once-in-a-thousand-year opportunity, Bert immediately fell into contemplation, because he didn't want to continue to be. Others treated him like a slave. The feeling of not having any freedom really make people living without substance. But even so, this is still the only way to change his destiny. Just stay. He can escape the torture in prisoner of war camps. But as soon as I walked into the dressing room, then the identity that he hid has been exposed for a long time. He was wounded in the war. Now he can't even talk. I only had a mild cold. You're crazy. He's a damn German. Britain is not German. That's it. That's right. I'm German. As soon as Bert said this sentence, then the anger of all the players immediately exploded. Listen, I didn't play football against the Nazis. Just because at that time, brother to Germany in the same way, we looked at Japan like that, but the rehearsal always believes that only Bert is only the key to save the team. Nevertheless, has just received acceptance from the players. The rehearsal is entangled again. A family lie. Mr. Margaret's eldest daughter. Do not hesitate to criticize. Are you going to drive Bert home? You are the one who wants to play ball with him. I want to teach that bastard a lesson, not inviting him to tea. His wife was also completely opposed. Even the little daughter and the wife's mothers older than 80 years old are also not want the trainer to be involved, a Nazi soldier, because this can make the whole family becoming the target of attack by the whole people. But the trainer didn't just hold Bert in the team, but also declared, we'll take him back to the store of the family to help. Margaret was so angry that, using the broad tone of German soldiers to detain his father. But the very next day, her father actually took Bert home. This made Margaret feel extremely uncomfortable. She understood that the appearance of the hero of a Nazi soldier can cause the whole family to fall in a dangerous situation. When Bert took the initiative to show goodwill, Margaret was so frightened that she stood on the back of her neck. She didn't want to have any involvement. What to a German soldier? So she finds an excuse to send him away. But this scene was accidentally. Her best friend saw it. The friend immediately warned Margaret to keep a distance from the Germans. They are all demon eaters, human flesh, without releasing dew. In fact, Margaret was always watching Bert's biggest laugh. Just a little bit of abnormality. She will immediately detect the danger, seeing Bert greeting his sister. Margaret immediately stopped the conversation between the two. Although Bert tried to solve the "you, like that you don't, must be an evil Nazi soldier." But Margaret saw it firsthand. Witness, friends, I was killed by war. The obsession in her memory made her not can let go of their prejudices. Did you know? We don't can go out to dance, and at night can only hide in the hidden curse cellar. She vowed that, when it was morning, our house is still standing, wishing friends and people, the body is still alive. So I knew exactly what he really wanted. Actually, I've never want to go to the battlefield. In the face of these obvious facts, Bert's explanation becomes weak and meaningless. If war is just carnage, looting and harming innocent people, so what is its purpose? At that moment, Bert's eyes were full, an old ball lying on the ground. He put aside his thoughts for a while, chaos aside, and focused entirely on the practice. Since then, in addition to helping coaches, Bert also spends his free time to practice leaf ball skills. Occasionally, he also taught Margaret's sister a few balancing techniques. Nothing appeals to young girls more than a guy who is just handsome and friendly. Those images are familiar, pants in Margaret's mind, made her constantly think about Bert. Gradually, she began to have feelings, in love with this guy. But to really break step of prejudice, then there needs to be a chance, and the little bird accidentally fly away has become a catalyst for their relationship. Margaret didn't know what to do. Bert immediately quit work. Quickly follow and catch. The bird helped her again. Margaret looked at Bert with emotion. There was a hint of emotion in his eyes. The previous hostility seemed as dissolved. Bert's sincere barrel was silent, opened the door of Margaret's heart. However, right at this critical time, Bert faced the biggest challenge again. Because a British officer in the camp, the prisoner was suddenly shown a documentary about the camp concentration of Nazi Germany. The horrific scenes on the screen has been reactivated. The dark memories that Bert has always wanted to bury. That year, in a village belonging to the occupied area, his teammates are having fun playing with it. The ball they just stole. A boy under 10, the age of the bridegroom, walked in. Want to get his ball back, but unexpectedly, a Nazi soldier has arisen the intention of doing evil. Use the ball as a reward and invite. The boy participates in a game. Pick up the ball and run away. I'll count to 10. When I count to 10, you have to leave. Else, the ball will belong to me. At first, the boy was a little scared, but in the face of continuous provocations, the customs of the soldiers, he took all the courage to pick up the ball. But as soon as the boy turned around and ran, then the Nazi soldier suddenly pulled out his gun, aimed directly at the boy and squeezed the grass. But soon after, the gun was pointed straight at Sel Abati. In a panic, he derailed and returned to reality. Suddenly, a prisoner of war, women's castle, towards another bald prisoner. Very brief scenes in the main video is masterminded by this bald prisoner of war. So that prisoner of war, determined to reclaim justice for the lives of innocent people, the two of them just rushed into a fierce fight, just as the officer wanted. He used the movie screening to classify prisoners of war, who still has a salary, who remain loyal to Nazi Germany diot. But the next morning, less discovery that prisoners, soldiers and other salaries, committed suicide because he couldn't bear it. Past sins. Less angry to keep your quality, we are caused by the footage. In a fit of rage, he then went to the officer to confront him. He was not much better than them. He himself slept with him. Do you know he did anything in this war? The officer's words were like a stroke. The knife pierced into the pain of both. He immediately executed the person on the spot. Perhaps the memory of not can save the boy in the old days will forever be a wound in the heart. He never forgets. As soon as Bath left, the officer accidentally saw the necklace was left behind. He immediately became confused. Because this bracelet is only available in the area occupied by Germany, the fact that it appears on Les's body makes he couldn't understand. Compared to this event, Les became quieter. But unexpectedly, Margaret used to be cold with him. He has now completely changed his attitude. She doesn't just pay attention to the mix, lemon juice for Les, but also confided in him. Margaret says she's special, love to dance. The feeling of jumping around helps her forget all sorrows. I also agree when I touch the ball. I also feel the same, as if dancing. Like dancing. Football is also a dance. No, it's very rough. No, football is a great dance. When the two of you are having a good conversation, then Bill, another member of the team suddenly appeared. Break their atmosphere. Is the official boyfriend of it, Margaret? So Bill's scene. Lessa had to stay away from her. Margaret is my girlfriend. If you don't want to be smashed in the face, then it is best to be careful. I understand. But Les did not respond, on the contrary. He took an action. Strange in the game. When catching the ball from the throw, he didn't immediately transmit ball for teammates, but looked at Margaret. Then, in front of the eyes of thousands of spectators, he started dancing. The audience in the stands looked at each other in a daze, laughed that he was crazy. Only Margaret understood what he meant, the meaning of that action. Football and dance are the way, special communication between them. That day, Margaret's best friend was happy. Shared an important piece of news. The war is officially over. There is no longer a scene of living in destruction. All Nazi soldiers were deported to their home countries. This is a day that everyone must rejoice. But Margaret's face, full of thoughts. Seeing my friend gloating at this news, Margaret couldn't help suppressed anger. She immediately kicked her friend out of the house. After a long time together, Margaret was born. Affection. For Bot. Margaret selfishly wished to be with her, forever in a small town. But it's not just her, that even her father is having to, struggling with difficult decisions, because there is only 1 week left to the decisive match. The government ordered the expulsion again, export Les to Germany. When the coach thinks that everything has been arranged, then Les is surprised asked to stay longer, a week, to play the final match. Everyone was extremely excited, encouraged by this decision. Have they prepared a meal yet? Hearty to thank you. Although Margaret tried to suppress our joy, but the actions that care and her pampering eyes accidentally revealed his feelings. True touch in the heart. The important match finally came. But as soon as the match started, then Les's defense is penetrated, causing the team to fall into a leading position. When the coach is disappointed at the end, then he happened to see a steep football talk. Coach of a floating team in the English First Division. Apparently, he came here to find talented players. Realizing the golden opportunity ahead, the coach immediately reminded the players must concentrate as much as possible to impress the teacher. This famous coach. This match is not only decisive, the fate of the team, but also is an opportunity to change the game, the lives of the players. If noticed by a big team, then their future will be open. Those words immediately made all the players were excited, but in the second half, the team is still overwhelmed by the opponent. However, the coach was too worried, so he hid in the changing room, did not dare to witness the scene. My team failed, but when they hear the sound of their sewing echoes from the stands, he couldn't resist, but looking out right, when he saw his team score the goal, the whole stadium exploded in joy. But soon afterwards, due to a mistake by the player, so your team is entitled to a penalty. Put all your energy into it. Excellent need to break the penalty. But the match is only left very little time. Trying to help this decision make the entire audience. The radio exploded in happiness. Finally the coach has. The group sighed lightly, when everyone was still celebrating. Then he wished the Pine to go straight to Bobo. Invited him to join Manchester City. Standing in front of a once-in-a-thousand-year opportunity. Les had to give up. Because of the status of German soldiers, his commune made him not. What other options are there? The return to the homeland. But right then, he suddenly heard a song. Singing German folk songs rang out. Follow the sound. He immediately went to a pub. When you just entered, he immediately realized that the people in the town, is holding a farewell party, hand reserved for him. They even learn an hour. Duke, to sing his welcome. Spending time together. The German soldier who was once despised below, has been completely accepted by the town. During the party, Margaret's gaze kept following Bo. Les also looked at Margaret with a light, eyes full of love. From their gaze, everyone can see that they are in love. The atmosphere gradually becomes more romantic, but due to the enmity between the two countries, so no one dares to destroy, reduce each of those dividers. Lost. Invite Margaret to dance with me. Under a melodious melody, they gently immerse themselves in their own dance. Let's attempt to use one shot throughout the penalty to prove Min who is the worthy person. worth spending with Margaret. But as soon as Lesser made the stroke throughout, then Bath still stood there and did not react at all, because he understands that love, really unenforceable, but need harmony between two souls. Les don't want to use this ridiculous method to interfere with Margaret's decision. Perhaps letting go is the best option. Looking at the shadow of Les's back more and more distantly, Bill could only stand still, anger in hopelessness. Upon returning to the coach's house, it was discovered that Margaret had been waiting in the bedroom for a long time. Since Lessa started working in store work, Margaret soon realized that he was a good man. He always faces everything with a positive attitude, dedicated to doing everything. She understands that tea is the landing place, the most ideal that I was looking for. Time passed. The two quickly walked in. Wedding ceremony. Not only a happy life, Les's football career is also standardized. A new chapter was opened. But as soon as Lesser officially signed contract with Manchester City, then he encountered an owl. Big shock in his career. During the launch press conference, a journalist suddenly reveals the past of Lesser was a Nazi soldier. Not only that, the reporter also associated him with the following subjects: conflict of customs between Germany, communes and Jews. Infuriated the entire Jewish community. In the face of loud questions, the coach hurriedly hit misdirection of the media. Many reporters still continue the custom of pouring oil on the fire. They claim that Lesser has ever received the Order of the Cross, Iron, and denounced him as a war criminal. Instead of refuting, choose to be silent. Sure enough, the very next day, this news has spread everywhere. Criticism and humiliation flooded the streets of Manchester. For a moment, he immediately became the object is hated, being considered a traitor, and war crimes, opponents of Germany. The commune also gathers first, Manchester City Stadium gate, to put pressure. Looking at the chaotic scene outside the window, there are also only contemporarily dodge. But even though the team is interested in it, under enormous pressure, Joe Thompson still doesn't give up. Bot's talent. He went to the changing room, reminded the players that the most important thing is solidarity. We can't blame one person for the mistakes of an entire country. Football without borders, non-racist port, tribe or little admire. On the field, we are all warriors and has only one goal: victory. Come on, Manchester City. In the face of countless criticisms, Les still maintains faith. He knows that there's only talent and bravery to be able to shatter all views, like boos from the stand, constantly attacking Tam Tree-on. As soon as the match starts, psychological instability makes it impossible to check Les. Well, control the transmission of comrades. As a result, the ball falls on the opponent's feet. And finally, he couldn't feel it either. A dangerous blow. At this time in the stands, grafted eyes towards England. It seems that they all want to take all the blame. The team's defeat to the top of England, only because he was a German soldier. Even when returning Manchester after the match, a group of extremist Jews have blocked the pumpkin car. They were angry, repeatedly punching the car hard, as if he wanted to get his body out on the spot. These extremists are no different from Nazi soldier in the old days. That night, Manchester City hosted an emergency meeting, level to find ways to remedy the situation. But the hatred of the people have been deeply ingrained in the blood. He was insulting the deceased. Fortunately, Coach and Margaret promptly chased over to prevent a major conflict. But no matter how hard they try, how to explain, nor can they change the hatred of the crowd. It was only when Margaret stood up, openly admitted that she was the wife of Bert. The whole hall fell silent. She said that Bert was not a cruel and impossible, for all sin on the head of a single person. If you take the time, get to know him, you will see that he has made an effort, the power to give up the past. She is sleeping with the enemy. You don't either. Different from those whom you condemned. Go away. The two of you are really a disgrace. I am proud to be the wife of Bert. But sincere words, Margaret's can't be moved. That stubborn crowd. Just as she said, those who in the name of enmity with Nazi Germany is no different. What soldiers once slaughtered innocent, they have lost their humanity. In the next match, the audience is still constantly booing. But Bert turned pressure into motivation. Create a room wall, unbreakable, continuously saving the team, and finally won the victory. Bert used his strength to smash insults. This result made Truck Pine, smiling with satisfaction by. He knew that Bert owned an extraordinary mind, and a true warrior won't never back down in the face of adversity. The more he played, the more Bert shone. He has become a name, are mentioned by everyone. Some fans started, have a fair view, that the sin of Nazi Germany is forever, is a history lesson to remember. But if you keep sinking in hatred, they are no different from the Vivi, whom they hate. If Bert was really a righteous man, then why not let him witness, clear out on the field? As Bert's career flourished, his family also carries, welcome, a new member. It seems like everything is going, in a good way, like darkness is always everywhere. In the coup, FA final, a terrible accident that has fallen, ended Bert's career. In 1952, Manchester City head-to-head, with Birmingham City, both teams aspired to the championship. Bert was prepared to sign for this match. Devote all your heart to help, the whole team won tie. But he suspected from the first minutes, his teammates were lost. Ball into the opponent's hands. As soon as the opportunity arises, the opposing striker immediately launched the powerful long owl. But Bert was right, and carefully destroyed successfully. Then thanks to its quick and slight reflexes, he constantly saves for the team. Take advantage of the opponent's loopholes. Bert immediately gave the bronze name. The team organized a counterattack. Real Manchester City players show a series of transmission lines, short to penetrate the line, defend the enemy, scored on the scoreline. But Birmingham took advantage of a throw-in to get the ball to the striker's feet. This person immediately threw the ball into a dangerous corner. That makes Bert not can guess the direction. The ball and the score were level. In the second half, Manchester City changes tactics, increase attack power. So under the expectant gaze of thousands of spectators, they went on to score one more goal. Make the fans on the field moving like an explosion. Birmingham immediately fell into the lead. Birmingham is squeezed, forced to change tactics. They constantly steal the ball and performing attacks. Strong attack on goal, held by Bert. Bert saw the danger, immediately tried to rush up carefully, but an opposing player threw a powerful throughout, accidentally kicked him in the head, made him almost unconscious. Despite his teammates constantly calling his name, Bert still didn't react. The whole stadium was momentarily sink into silence. Everyone held their breath, afraid that he has met with serious injuries. But just before the team, medical personnel, in time to enter the yard, Bert suddenly stood up. He put his hand around his neck, signaling to everyone that he still can continue to compete. Tiger trainer immediately sighed lightly, while the audiences simultaneously applauded. They admired Bert's resilient will. But no one knows that his spear has so serious that damage can affect lives. Just hit and touch again. The consequences will be extremely terrible. However, Bert still defied the pain to continue to protect the bar frame. Do not let any balls go into the net. He needs to break the ball again, but this time, he collapsed. With his extraordinary will, Bert finally held the game until the final moments of the match, led Manchester City to hit, defeated Birmingham City. With a body full of injuries, he contributed to the foundation, Body Cube FA, in 1956, and be personally female, Hoang awarded the prize. But when people are still sunk in happiness, Bert couldn't bear it, bear the pain again. He was seriously injured. His 5th cervical vertebrae were broken, and inserted into the 6th vertebrae. If it weren't for the strong will to compete, then he probably collapsed right on the field. Fortunately, the broken mist does not spread. That saved his life. Perhaps it is the perseverance to the end of V. Bert touched the heavens. Not only that, but his brave performance on the pitch made the press praise with all the words. Put his name on the front page of major newspapers, and his son is also proud to have such a great traitor. Looking at his son's bright smile, Bert suddenly remembered the painful memory that he always tries to bury. The truth is, the good ending that he still imagining about him. The baby in the old days was just an illusion of his own making. That year, it was because of cowardice. His moment that the child was arrested by the officer. The Nazis fired substance. The necklace, statues of an occupied area, is what the boy dropped. Before the last few breaths, Bert never stopped. Stop about this. That feeling of guilt was suppressed all the time. Years made him always live in misery. If there is a chance to go back in time, he will definitely stand up to protect the boy. But fate is always ironic, and so unpredictable. That day, Bert called to ask, visiting his wife and children as usual. But, right next time, Bert's only son passed away. Life in a traffic accident. The shock was so great that it immediately made Bert fell into despair like a small sharp blade penetrating his heart. Boys are not just the only light in Bert's life is also the hope to help him and his wife continue to live. Since then, Bert became quieter. Every day, he visited one of them, put a flower to display, show sympathy. By chance, the officer, he from the war camp, paintings from the past, are also present in the cemetery. He also lost his wife and children, women in war, and they are ringed right here. Seeing Bert drowning in misery, the officer hoped he could overtake through the pain and continuing to live. Let's go back to the field. Bert, let's compete for the who trusted him. Let's play football for your son. But that sentence seems to spark to Bert's anger. It touches the wound deepest in his heart. Bert wiped the officer, and both of them immediately wiped into the brawl, because Bert has never forgotten the event, screening in the past in prisons. That's why he always resents the officer. After a while of punching and kicking, in the end, both of them regain his composure. Although I have relieved my emotions somewhat, but the pain in Bert's heart are still not outsiders. In the end, he couldn't hold back any longer. Decided to tell all the secrets in his heart with his wife. It's all his fault. You're paying the price. We are paying the price for these, what has been done in the past. He couldn't save that boy, and now his son was swept away. Which boy? The boy were shot during the war. He could have prevented, but he didn't. That boy is also my son. Not for your sins that he had to endure. So don't say it anymore. This is not his fault. We can't bring them back. We only have two options. Or continue to walk forward, or buried in the past. Margaret's eyes filled with tears. Hopeless can get rid of the pain. No longer immersed in thickness, the torment of the past. Anyway, only those who dare to climb the road stand up to be able to touch to the peak of glory. After hearing the sincere words from his wife, the next day, Les immediately returned to the team. Although I was a little surprised after the kite, long distance from the pitch. But when he saw the cheers, enthusiasm from the audience, he quickly regained his form, willing to give their best. And so, Les once again stood firm on the field. Continue to be a hero, their own songs. In his career, he has played a total of 545 matches. It was not until 1964 that it was officially retired at Manchester City. His story is a testament to the to make mistakes and save themselves. Having lived under the shadow of war, carrying guilt for many years. But he never gave up, escaping the past, only when he joined Manchester City. With excellent catching talent and steadfast will, he won from the public and completely transformed into a new person. Moving forward is the message, the most important of this movie. As Margaret said, only if you keep walking. We are not pressed, sinking into the past. Despite losing her son in an accident, but she still encourages Les forward. It is the spirit of the wife who has creating a legendary goalkeeper. As a result, they had 2 more children. The family gradually finds its own, warm and happy. This is the meaning that the movie wants. Transmission, even if it falls into a quagmire. You also have to have the courage.
Enjoyed the video? Hit subscribe, drop a like, share with your crew, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk movies.